Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be looking at the Nintendo Switch 2 first look trailer that Nintendo just dropped on their official YouTube channel. This will be linked down in the description if you want to check it out yourself or just watch it along with me. This is probably going to be a very big deal. I think the biggest thing is I watched it once before. I don't think it says a release date. It might. Okay, never mind. It does say a release date. Oh, no. It says the next direct. So it might not even be this year. It could be next year, but we'll see. We'll see. Just before we hit play, I'd like to remind everyone, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Comment down below what you guys will think about the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so if you'd like to follow or subscribe to the channel, I appreciate it. I'm going to do a Q&A video once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So we will be watching this muted because Nintendo scares me. The old Switch is pretty much iconic. I'm pretty sure it's Nintendo's best-selling console. It's bigger than the Switch, as we can tell, obviously, with this. And I think the more interesting thing is, for me, is that it looks, I would say, less flimsy. The old Switch sometimes looked a little flimsy. I think one of the biggest things, though, is this, for me personally. It doesn't look like it slides in like the old Switch, because they always did that whole slide thing. This one looks like it clicks in, which is interesting. And this stand is so much better than the old stand. Holy cow, the old stand was so bad. It was so bad. It also looks like, I'm actually curious, wait, go back 1 second. So this is the stand. Does it still charge? No, I think they finally have the charge port up here. So you can have it in stand mode and not have to have on, wait, no, never mind, it's still in the bottom. Why would you do that, Nintendo? I guess it's because it's so it can be docked properly. Probably. It's so weird that the stand is, like, you can't have it charged while being in the stand mode, but, you know, it's whatever. The controllers being bigger is so nice. The Nintendo Switch controllers, I understand that, like, you know, it's supposed to be like a console for all ages, but man, were those controllers small. Like, really small. So I honestly, I'm kind of sad that it's just black. I know like the red and the what's it called, the stick underneath is the red and blue, but I'm gonna miss the full red and blue of the controllers, and because I thought it made it look cool. I'm sure they'll probably, being Nintendo, they'll sell different versions of the console, so this is probably just gonna be the default version. It also looks like they also once again have those the little handle things that you can click onto the controllers if you want to use the controllers as one controller for each, similar to like how you play Mario Party and stuff like that. And this is the biggest thing. First of all, I don't know, it feels weird that this thing is just out there, but it looks like it snaps in instead of sliding in. So it's interesting that it snaps. I am kind of glad that it is color coded, because I feel like one of the things I heard about the Switch is that people forgetting which side is which I'm not entirely sure is necessarily Nintendo's fault or not, but you know, it makes it easier if it's color coded. And also, honestly, this is the biggest surprise for me, for just anything when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, is that I'm surprised they called it the Nintendo Switch 2. Because Nintendo does not follow traditional naming schemes at all. I think the biggest difference is like the Wii successor was called the Wii U. And to be fair, one of the problems with the Wii U is that people didn't realize it was a separate console and not just like an addition to the Wii. So I kind of understand their hesitation to call it something different, but I'm honestly just surprised that they're calling it the Nintendo Switch 2. Because Nintendo doesn't call things numerically different all the time. So the fact that they're just actually calling the Nintendo Switch 2 I think it's a big tell to say that this is in fact the Switch, just better. In terms of specs, it's just going to be the same Switch except better specs, which I think is what everyone wants, to be fair. I mean, it has a bigger screen, don't get me wrong, so like, other than just, I mean, I guess specs is still the screen size and stuff like that. Another curious thing is these controllers, Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. I wonder if they're still called Joy-Cons. One of the biggest problems they had was the stick drift. And also this one, I wonder if this is Mario Kart 8 or if this is Mario Kart 9. Because if that's Mario Kart 9, that's insane. And we have the same little, what's it called? Oh god, I can't remember what this is called. The controller for the thing. And once again, bigger because the controllers are bigger. And the logo of just being the Switch logo with a 2 beside it, honestly, is I'm just it's genius. I think the problem that they're solving is that people, for instance, the Wii was at the time one of the most successful consoles for Nintendo ever, and the Wii U, I think, is one of the most underperforming consoles that Nintendo has had in recent memory, like other than like the Virtual Boy and stuff like that. Because like it really did feel like Nintendo's marketing was really bad for the Wii U. And so like them just saying, no, this is the Nintendo Switch sequel. Everyone, it's there's no misinterpretation of anything. I am very curious though if it's interesting because this also snaps in. So these, because before the controller, before it slid into it, so the things are behind it, which is gonna, I wonder if that's gonna feel weird. I hope the Nintendo Switch Pro controllers still work because I have one of those. I hope that it still works for the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean it's just a controller, so it probably can, but we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. And I think the biggest problem that I think feel like in the initial sales of these is, are these snap things going to break at any point, or like how durable are these things? Because I've never seen any problems with the slide things, but if you can't snap these things in, it's going to be super annoying. But then again, you don't need that, as you can just play it with them individually. So plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games. So they're both backwards compatible. Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on Nintendo's website at a later date. So they're keeping with these cartridges, which is nice. And another thing is that it looks like they will be backwards compatible to a certain extent. The big question for me is certain Nintendo Switch games may or not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. What does fully compatible mean? For instance, one of the reasons I never ended up playing Tears of the Kingdom is because the Nintendo Switch could just barely play Tears of the Kingdom. So, and same with like the new Pokemon games. The new Pokemon games literally gave me headaches because of how laggy they were. So, how does the new Nintendo Switch, how does the Switch 2 run those games? Does it run better? Like, I'm not asking for like better graphics options. I'm just like, does it run it at least a stable 30 or 60 FPS? Well, for the Pokemon games, it barely runs a stable 30. But like, even for Tears of the Kingdom, which is very well optimized considering what it's trying to do, it would still drop down pretty low. So I'm curious if it's going to be a stable 30 or 60 FPS, probably 30. But it'll be interesting to see the type of how compatible they are. But I mean, just comparing the size is really good. Honestly, the funny thing is that this kind of looks like a Steam Deck to me. It looks like a smaller Steam Deck or those new like handheld consoles that have been pretty popular since the Steam Deck came out. So that's very interesting. Also, why is I think the funniest thing to me is that I love how the Switch is rated E for everyone, which is very funny. And we're gonna have a new the Nintendo Direct with specifically the Switch 2 on the 4th of that no sorry the 2nd of April, I think, because that's 4 is April, 2 is the day, so the 2nd of April, so only 3 months away, honestly, which is pretty fast. I'm curious if the final release date is going to be at in 2025. If the release date is in 2025, that's going to be pretty crazy. And if the release date is 2026, I'm not going to be surprised. If the release date is 2027, I'm going to be super surprised. So I'm more banking on the fact that it's going to be released this year. I think if something bad happens, maybe next year, but I'm almost positive it's going to be this year. They've waited a long time for this, and it seems like it's been in the works for a long time as well. So it would surprise me greatly if this was going to be in 2026 or 7. I'm almost positive it's gonna be 2025. I'm really curious if this is going to be. Let's see. Let's find it. Where did it go? Is this Mario Kart 9 or is this Mario Kart 8 with the Switch 2? That's the biggest thing as well. And this looks like I can't remember what 2D Mario game it is called. The 2D Mario game Wonders. This looks like Wonders to me. I wonder if Wonders, obviously Wonders, is going to be on the Switch 2. I assume honestly all the Nintendo Switch the the Switch 1 games are all going to be backwards compatible. The reason they're going to say certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported or fully compatible with Switch 2 is probably going to be the third party games, because I'm sure every single Nintendo game studio and stuff has known the Switch 2 is coming relatively soon, and they've been backing down the hatches for the Switch 2 release, because selling the same game on the next console is going to be a big deal, especially depending on the launch games for the Switch 2, because I'm pretty sure there isn't going to be a Mario game. Then again, or Odyssey, it's been a long time since Odyssey came out, so it's going to be interesting to see if there is like a Mario game for the Switch 2 right away. I can't imagine there being a Zelda game, because Tears of the Kingdom it came out only a couple years ago. Like it's within 2 years, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. Unless time has been unless I've forgotten how time works. So it's going to be interesting to see which games are specifically going to be able to be played. And the Switch 2, honestly, I'm just kind of excited. I am for me personally, what I'm actually funny enough, what I'm super excited for the Switch 2 is Pokemon Unite running on the Switch 2, because man, the Switch struggles to run Pokemon Unite, and the Switch 2 I'm hoping is going to be compatible with it, so I can actually play at a stable frame rate and not lag in the menus. It's going to be great. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm going to be very sad. And I'm going to see, it's going to be interesting to see how the Switch 2 handles third-party games as well, because one of the problems with the Switch 1 is that third-party games are always worse on the Switch, because the tech is just so far behind. But from what I can tell from any leak or people in the know, the Switch 2 is a decent piece of hardware. So hopefully it'll be good enough. And honestly, that's the main thing. The main thing is that it's gonna be better than the Switch 1, and that's all it really needs to be, because it's the Switch 2. It's the sequel to the Switch, so it just needs to be better than the Switch 1 and still play the Nintendo games just as good as they have always been, and play the third-party games at least equal to low settings on like PC and stuff like that, and equal to the other consoles as well. It's mostly the other consoles that's the problem, because obviously the PC is going to have advantages over the Switch and the regular consoles, but the Switch 1 could barely play the games that other consoles could play. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Switch 2 can keep up to speed with at least the tech behind the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series systems. Even though the Switch obviously has sold way more, but like it's more about the technical side. This is purely a technical side for me personally, because when it comes to consoles, the Switch is really the only console that I've actually played recently, because everything else I generally play on PC, and if it's not on PC or Switch, I generally don't play it, because I'm not that into the PlayStation exclusives or the Xbox exclusives, but all their exclusives eventually come out on PC nowadays, and I'm not really waiting. And this Nintendo games are never going to come to PC. I'm not that delusional to think they're ever going to do that. So if I want to play Nintendo games, I have to own a Nintendo console, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, because games are unique. I can always disagree with some Nintendo decisions, but their video games are really good. So, and that's sometimes all you really need. So thank you everyone for watching today's video. Please subscribe to the channel if you would enjoy this type of content. I'll be doing as many Nintendo Switch stuff, looking at all the news articles and stuff, and we're probably doing follow-up videos as well. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to follow me on other places, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads if you'd like to check out any of those social media platforms. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye, everyone.